India is in middle of an incredible growth story. SMEs are popping up from everywhere. They are looking for growth, they are looking for cash flow. And to discuss this undeniable growth story, we are doing our Insure Pulse podcast. And to discuss the same, we have our guests Vaibhav and Rishabh here today.
Hi, I'm Vaibhav Vyas. I'm heading corporate solutions in Mahindra Insurance Brokers. I'm having almost 24 years of experience in general insurance industry.
My name is Rishabh Goyal. I have an experience of approximately 22 years in the industry, and I have worked with insurance companies and brokers equally. I take care of the non-captive corporate group as well as the SME segment for MIBL.
So right now we are marking National Insurance Awareness Day. So Vaibhav, my first question to you is like, when the businesses are growing, they enter into a certain phase of growth. How do you think their responsibility increases in terms of securing that business?
So Rahul, with increasing business, expanding the setup, a lot of risks start increasing. Basically the distribution risk, supply chain management risk. Then there is also the liabilities keep on increasing on as the organization grows. Business interruption, customer and suppliers dependence. A lot of factors keep on accumulating in terms of risk exposure.
So in the uncertainties of business, today what's interesting is that growth is usually seen as a positive thing. Can growth itself become a source of risk?
Of course, growth of SME, they are exposed to many kind of new risks. Let's say cyber risks, they increase greatly. The employee related risks, they hire larger workforces, and the supply chain related risks. I think these are the three risks that are that increase substantially as the organizations grow.
Could that be why insurance often takes the backseat?
So Rahul, we come across quite a lot of instances where we see that the fast growing organizations, they miss out on covering business interruption, which is basically covering the loss of profits. कई कंपनियों को ऐसा लगता है कि उनके यहाँ पर साइबर अटैक नहीं हो सकता है, पर जब साइबर अटैक होता है हमने देखा है कि उन कंपनीज़ को काफ़ी अलग तरीके से रिस्पॉन्ड करते हुए. इसके अलावा अगर हम लोग बात करें कि कई कंपनीज़ अपना पूरा असेट का इंश्योरेंस करवाती हैं, अपनी फैक्ट्री का, अपने गोडाउन का, पर वो करवाते वक्त उनके वैल्यूएशन का ध्यान नहीं देती हैं. और जब लॉस जब हिट करता है, पता चलता है कि जितना इंश्योरेंस होना चाहिए था उससे कहीं कम उन्होंने लिया था, और ऐसे केस में वो लोग सफ़र करते हैं. They become serious and sensitive about having insurances only when the calamity strikes. So definitely this is the point of concern.
Which is that point where they should start thinking about insurance?
So in fact, many years back, so I had a client, and his turnover was approximately 1995 crore rupees, and his entire factory got burnt down. He had taken insurance, but he had not taken adequate insurance. And I could see the pain in his eyes and his voice. And that's when I realized that there is no particular time for any SME or any corporate to start thinking about insurance,
So हमने एक चीज़ देखी है कि या तो बिजनेसेस पूरी तरीके से इंश्योर्ड ही नहीं है, और अगर वो इंश्योर्ड है तो जो कवरेज है वो इनफ नहीं है. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, ये हेजिटेशन कहाँ से आता है जो या तो वो इंश्योरेंस नहीं ले रहे और ले रहे हैं तो they are not getting themselves secured enough?
So I feel there are few issues with the businesses, especially the SME businesses, where they are not aware about insurance. Even if they are aware, they don't know how to take insurance. Even if they know how to take insurance, they may not be covering themselves adequately. So at all these stages, we at Mahindra Insurance Brokers Limited, we reach out to our clients, we advise them, we guide them, we remove their hesitation in taking an insurance policy, and we help them in buying proper insurance.
So understanding it early, does it help?
It really helps starting early, because in that case the individual gets price benefit for every good claim year. Secondly, there is always a scope for enhancing coverages, making further improvements. There are no claim discounts which keep on coming in every corporate policy also. So starting early really helps in building a good, strong book of insurance portfolio.
There is a tendency to think businesses within the same industry face the same risk. Do you think, is it like, if I am doing the same business, Rishabh is doing the same business, the risk is same?
So every business has got different set of exposures. A factory near a river, a factory on a hilltop, and a factory on a plain ground all three have different risk exposures. So even if me and Rishabh are doing the same business in different parts of country, in different geographies, with different set of employees, with different turnover, our exposures are totally different. So it has to be totally customized.
And I would like to add to this cyber example. See, I have a friend who runs a small company. He was telling me that he gets approximately 400 to 500 cyber attacks every day. So when he realized this, he understood the importance of taking insurance. So I suggested him that you start with a small sum insured of 1 crore, 2 crores, and then, as he said, you can build up on it.
What do you think where the businesses make mistake while evaluating their protection solution?
In this case, it is basically getting too sensitive about price alone. I think that is the biggest mistake which they do. We, as a broker, we get good price, but after making coverage totally comprehensive and ensuring that all the risks which are exposing the balance sheet are getting covered, only after that the last option, the thing which comes in our working is the price.
So what changes when you understand the exact requirement of a business while evaluating? You must be evaluating the business, correct?
So in this case, we have to do a risk mapping, which is a very, very scientific method to arrive at what exposures the client has. So looking at their sector, their location, we identify all the risks which they are exposed to. We categorize them according to their frequency and severity. And after that, we sit with the client and revalidate it, that whether any of the risks are missing in this. Then after that, we start finding out solutions to all the risks which their balance sheet has. We further categorize that into insurable risk and non-insurable risks. And after that, client is very consciously aware at the end of the day as to what all protections he is having in place and what all insurances he is still remaining exposed to.
We do have a very, very strong team who can do that for our clients. We have all kind of experts who can do these kind of activities.
And to our surprise and to client surprise also, there are a lot of new things which come out every time after we do these risk management surveys.
Let's talk about the moment of truth which no business wants to face. When the business gets interrupted, what do businesses actually need the most?
First thing is having an expert around them who can guide them, who can take them through the journey of post-loss recovery. So managing the panic in case of their operations. Secondly, they also tell them what all steps have to be followed now going forward. Our experts also advise them in case of business interruption loss as to what is the possible computation of business interruption amount which they should be expecting from the insurance company.
See, actually the preparation of a claim, it starts from the time the policy is placed, So we make sure that the policies are also framed in such a way that any claim incident gets covered in the policy and all the terms and conditions in the policy are favorable to the client. And if you ask me, most of the clients are very afraid of the insurance policy because they cannot read the small words. So that is where we come in. So for us, empathy is extremely important. So one is speed, second is empathy, and the third point is accuracy. Accuracy with which a claim gets cleared is very, very important for the client. If the client gets the correct amount at one go, they can start their businesses very, very quickly. Correct. And certain claims, they fall into the gray areas, where the incident or some part of it is covered as per the policy, but the client and the insurance companies are not able to understand that. So a very important part of our job is to just understand the policy correctly and just make sure that whatever is covered under the contours of the policy, the client gets the full benefit of that.
So knowledge, advisory and empathy, that's how Mahindra Insurance Brokers Limited bring its core value and belief of Rukne Nahi Denge to life in everyday decisions and in its larger vision for businesses. So as we look ahead, what role do you think SMEs will play in shaping India's next phase of growth?
SMEs are the backbone of the economy now. The majority of the growth is coming from SMEs. They are a very, very critical component of entire supply chain management, even for large corporates also. SMEs are also leading the way in the form of their innovations. We are seeing a lot of innovation happening now in defense sector and in AI generated space, also in the case of semiconductors manufacturing.
Government is also offering a lot of support to startups, and these startups will ultimately become the SMEs and the large corporates of the future, and they will play a very, very important part in the growth of the industries that they are in and in the overall economy of the country. So we like to associate with them very, very early. And yes, SMEs are gonna stay and they are gonna play a very, very important part in our economy.
Who better than our guest with a combined experience of 45 plus years can tell us about how the business growth leads to the industry growth and the industry growth leads to the national growth?
So we help businesses to recover, to prepare for any eventuality better. We help them to respond effectively. So with all of these assistances which we provide as a Mahindra insurance broker, we ensure that the organization is able to stand up once again very, very quickly.
So with that belief, I want to reiterate again the belief of Mahindra Insurance Brokers Limited of Rukne Nahi Denge, that we are here to protect all the businesses at every moment. With this, we will wrap up our Insure Pulse podcast, and we would like to thank our speakers Vaibhav and Rishabh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rahul.
If you haven't already, please check out our latest film Rukne Nahi Denge. For more information, log on to www.mahindrainsurancebrokers.com.